This is Scotty Reed for Black Talk Radio News, and I would like to provide some commentary on the recent controversy of Rush Limbaugh calling this Georgetown University student a slut because, as he put it, because she wanted an insurance company to subsidize her birth control. Look, the insurance companies people pay for insurance. All right, people pay for insurance, and so it's not a subsidy. All right, but anyway, it was it was just crazy for him to call that woman a slut on the public airways, and I'm glad that advertisers are starting to drop him. They should have been running from his program, but I find it interesting on the state of white supremacy in America that it took for Limbaugh to attack a white woman for these advertisers to drop him when he has been saying derogatory comments about black people and Hispanic people and poor people for years. But yet, you know, they didn't drop him. But I guess he crossed the line, and the line was he attacked a young white woman. All right, but that's not the focus of my commentary. Now, President Obama called her after it came out that Rush maybe called her a slut. And he offers her some words of encouragement, and he told her to tell her parents that they should be proud of her. Okay, now, there's nothing wrong with that, but I see it for what it is. It is a political campaign season, and he's hoping to score some political points off of that, speaking to women voters. All right, now that brings me to my point. What about black voters? All right, he will speak to women's issues, he will speak to homosexual issues, he will speak to Hispanic issues and their concerns about immigration reform. He will go down there to AIPAC, the American Israeli Political Action Committee, and other right-wing Jewish groups. He'll even travel to Israel and assure them that America and his administration is a friend to Israel, and he's going to do this and do that for them. But when it comes to black people asking for our issues to be addressed, oh, we got to get to the back of the bus. He runs from us like we got kryptonite, like we're kryptonite or something. You know, when the black representatives held the town hall meetings to address double the national average unemployment in the black community, he basically told them to shut up, get in line, and march. Okay, that was just totally disrespectful to our elected leaders. All right, then another issue. Now he is closing I think it's like 5 minority business, minority business development centers. There's only 5 of them across the country. He's closing those, and I think it's part of that same legislation. Now he's cutting unemployment from, I think it's 99 weeks to 77 weeks. It's something, it represents 6 months of benefits that people are going to lose in unemployment benefits. Now, another issue that I have with him that he doesn't speak to is Mayor Bloomberg up there in New York, who is a Democrat, who is in Obama's Democrat Party. And Obama is the head of that party as the president. Now, he can get on the phone and call this white woman and offer her words of encouragement, but he can't call Mayor Bloomberg and tell him, you know, you need to stop targeting black people. And he don't even have to say black people, but we all know that's what it is. We know that that's what the statistical data has shown. Their own data has shown that in the past 10 years since Bloomberg has been mayor of New York, that they have stopped and frisked 4.8 million people just walking down the street, walking while black. You heard of driving while black? Well, in New York, they'll get you while you're walking and you happen to be black. And their own statistical data shows that it was not an effective policing policy, as only 14% of the 4.8 million people predominantly black, and then I think the next highest percentage was Latinos, but people of non-white people. Now, how come he can't call Democratic Mayor Michael Bloomberg and tell him you're violating the rights of the people, you're violating their 4th Amendment rights? Of course, in my opinion, President Obama really doesn't have a lot of respect for the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, as he has continued many of the same policies that destroy our civil liberties that was enacted by the Bush administration and the Democrats the last part of Bush's term, the Democrats were in power, and they co-signed on some of that stuff. But it was mainly with the Republicans, the Patriot Act. Then it was renewed, the warrantless wiretapping, all of that stuff is still going on. But my point is, he can speak to everybody's issues, every voting bloc except for black people. And these black people that get turned on by him going to the Apollo and singing some Al Green, and I think he also went somewhere else and was singing the blues. And then he screened that movie highlighting the accomplishments of the Tuskegee Airmen. You know, he'll hold those little things. He'll throw some barbecue at the White House, but he won't speak to our issues. He runs from them. And that is just sad. He would not be president if it was not for the high turnout of the black voting bloc, which overwhelmingly, probably 90% or more, voted for him and helped him win the White House. But since he's been in the White House, he hasn't done anything substantial for us. Sure, he signed a law that reduced the disparities of crack cocaine sentencing compared to powder cocaine sentencing from 101 to 18 to 1, but it's still a disparity. All right, he still continues to fight the unwinnable drug war, which again targets black people. Black people don't use drugs any more than white people. We're only 13% of the population, but yet we make up something like 36% of those arrested. Something like the numbers are pretty high. Over half of those who end up getting convicted, and then 63% or more of those incarcerated for it, and he thinks that's good policy. Okay, he don't speak to none of our issues. And then one thing that really burnt me up was the last Father Day speech he gave at a black church, when he was talking about black fathers need to step up. Well, sure, there's some among us who need to step up, but I find it interesting that he has bought into this media perception that black fathers are just no good and abandon their young. Now, I've been doing internet radio for a long time. I've talked to a number of psychologists and sociologists who have been involved in studies or have talked to me about studies that have been done in recent years that show that black fathers are more involved in their children's lives than any other ethnic group in America, with white men being the worst. They will abandon their children. Again, I'm not painting every white man with a broad brush, but you know, for President Obama to go in this black church and paint all black men with this broad brush, why he single us out? You know, he should have just said fathers, period. But you know, here it is, a black man attacking other black men. He don't address our issues, again, with the stop and frisk program. How come he ain't called Michael Bloomberg, his fellow Democrat, okay, who he outranks in the Democratic Party, being the head of that party as president? How come he ain't called this man and asked him to stop targeting young black men? I'm sick and tired of black people settling for nothing. He needs to earn our vote, just like he goes out there and he panders to the Jews, he panders to the gay people, he panders to the women vote. But when it comes to us, oh, we got to get to the back of the bus. I'm tired of it. I am not going to be silent on this issue because, like Frederick Douglass said, power sees nothing without a demand. And everybody else is putting their demands on them. And we need to put our demands on him as well, okay? Because we put him in office. And our issues are just as important as anybody else's issues. And I wish black people would stand up and quit acting like he's above criticism. I know he got a bunch of people surrounding him that, you know, probably advising him to ignore our issues. But you know what? He the face. They work for him, is what I'm trying to say. He don't work for them. All right, regardless of what you believe, if he's a puppet or whatever, well then let that puppet deliver the message that we have, that we are not going to sit on the back of the bus. You are not going to target us. You are not going to abuse us while we sit by and just shuck and jive. I'm just very sick. I'm very tired of the state of politics in the United States. and how black people act like they cowards. And then you got those out there that want to attack Cornel West. Cornel West got arrested in New York protesting the stop and frisk program. Okay? He's been involved in other rallies. He's been out there on the street putting in work. I don't see too many other people lobbying the president for our issues. And it ain't like he's coming with a bunch of baloney. He is telling the truth about the matter. And then for y'all to attack him because he's doing what he's supposed to do as a political commentator, as a person who loves the black community, it'll be a different thing if we was like the Tea Party and other racist people in this country and we was attacking him because of his race. And I wouldn't even call it attacks. I would call it raising our concerns and our issues. And then y'all want to pile on Cornel West because he calls the president out on that. Say like he's jealous or whatever. Ain't nobody jealous of no one. It has to do with the state of America and how our young people and our men and our women are being targeted by a racist government implementing and carrying out racist policies. Now, you can think what you want to, but I know what I believe, and I believe it to be true, that President Obama runs from black issues like it's kryptonite. Again, he can call this white woman and offer her words of encouragement and address her issues of getting insurance companies to cover contraceptives, but he won't address our issues of police brutality, being murdered in the streets, being targeted, being harassed by Democrats and Republicans. Now, you know that people want to say, well, he's not the president of black people, he's the president of all America. Well, we Americans too. All right? And so he needs to address our issues. This is Scotty Reed for Black Talk Radio News.